Let's now take a look at some of the other sections relating to the oscillator. So we've got no low frequencies on these two, but we've got a low frequency on number 3. Obviously, as we all know, Oscillator 3 was the modulation source for the original Minimoog, didn't have this extra LFO, which we've got here. So we've got a square and a saw on that. And this we've got a square and a saw and a sample and hold. They're the two modulation routes you can use. But I think there's 40 different destinations you can use. There's this thing called a PGM, and they have something called pot map, they've called it, which is essentially modulation matrix. So this can do tons more than this can, but that's not what this is about, but just so you know. So let's have a listen to some LFO modulations and how you set them up on this. So Oscillator 3 control, we'll take the keyboard control off so it keeps it a standard frequency all the way through the keyboard. We'll put the filter modulation on. So we've got Oscillator 3 on low. We want Oscillator 3. So you can have the Oscillator 3 and noise, or you can have filter envelope and LFO. So you've got various things you can blend between here. So now this is unipolar. So as this is on top of the cutoff frequency, it's not going to modulate it. I've got to turn it down first. That's one initial difference with these, because that's bipolar, as you'll see in a minute. So the basic tone doesn't change, but it adds frequencies. Let's try that with the with the pitch. Oh, LFO, not that. So it's going up, not up and down. Go back to the filter. Another difference with these on the waveforms that I forgot to mention there is the ramp we've got on this. We've got a sawtooth and a ramp. So on this we can do, or we can go. Sounds like a backwards sort of effect. Can't do that on this one. So, but on this one you can fine tune the waveform. So let's see. So simply enough, this modulation wheel has to be up. That's the only amount control you have. On this, you've got the modulation wheel and you've got an amount control as well, so you've got much more fine balance. Same goes with the pitch bend inside the operating system. You can change the pitch bend amount. On this, it's fixed. So it's sort of, which is really quite difficult to control. It's a bit of a shock to me because you normally have that set on 2 to do a nice little sort of. And it's much more difficult to do on that, and it's sort of, you've got to push that back yourself. Whereas on most synths these days, we're used to it doing that and automatically snapping back. Anyway, so that's as much as it'll do. It goes from there, so it's basically doing this. It's not doing that. So what have we got on there? We've got, let's put it on a sawtooth. This is more obvious. Do the same on this. Put it on a sawtooth. Turn the frequency down. Let's modulate with the wheel. So this modulates using the wheel. This is either with a pedal or just on. So if you have it so it's just on, let's say we're going to do the sawtooth. We're going to send it to the filter. Just make sure it's on there. Oh, that's the LFO. We want Oscillator 3. So that's how you choose the sawtooth, square, or sample and hold on this sawtooth or square. Oh, it's on low already. So with it off, you can hear the basic cutoff frequency. I won't try and sing it. But as we turn this up, you can hear it's going above and below that. Which is why it's disappearing, I think. But you're not hearing the constant tone you hear on this. Let's put it back on the square. I could be wrong. Listening to it now. No, that sounds the same. No. I was doing some experiments with it yesterday and I was getting when I was doing frequency modulation, it was getting completely different results from the both of them. Yeah, you're losing the low on the. And I don't know why that is. Is that because it's going bipolar or it's both going up with it? Yeah, it's bipolar. That's basically going above and below this 250, so it's not just like that is. It's going, and that's why it disappears. So if you listen to the low part section of that, it's basically going. Okay, that's interesting. Next thing, let's have a go at some frequency modulation, because that will change how these react. It's on high. What I'll do is I'll stick this on the modulation wheel just to stop confusing myself. So it's oscillator 3, filter. Let's turn that one down, turn that up. You can shape this as well, but I'm not going to do that because it confuses me. Okay, so there you can hear that. Another thing that's slightly different on these actually is on 2 and 3, the fine tune, what do you call it, fine tune, or the detune knob, has a much, well not much greater, it's a semitone or two more play in this than it does in this. So if we just listen to oscillator 2 for example, it makes a difference when I'm doing the FM, which is why I'll do it now. Listen to oscillator 2, just turn that off. So you can hear it. And let's get oscillator 2 on this. Yeah, what we got on 16. Zero it. And they sound a bit different. Listen to the tuning. Small difference, but if you're doing FM sounds, it might make more of a difference to you, because it doesn't really matter if you're tuning up a seventh, does it? Because you can go the octave higher and then knock it down 5. So anyway, let's go back to this. Or we could change that maybe to the, instead of doing to the filter, just pitch of oscillator 2 only maybe. Now that's something that can't do, because this will only do to the pitch of them all not individually. So this has got pitch all, oscillator 2 or oscillator 3, filter, the wave, so you can do PWM. So let's just do that as well, maybe. Knock that down to low. And low, off, why am I they're just doing it too. That's why. Let's put it onto a wave. PWM, can't do that on this. Okay, let's have a look at some FM on this one then. So that's off, oscillator 3 still. And I'll just knock this. I've got that on still on. Something like that on here. Let's put it back to turn this off. Filter. So this bipolar has much more of an effect than this does. It's a different effect, but it seems to have, it has more of an effect on the overall sound. So this, you've still got the bass sound, as it were. With the FM on top, whereas this, the whole thing becomes FM'd. So that sound has gone almost. Whereas in this, it's there throughout. As a constant. Slightly different. Not so that you'd be bothered, I wouldn't have thought, while you're making sounds for a track. But there is a difference. That one's waves on a triangle, so.